It's 12 o'clock local time here in Dakar, 12 p.m. in Kumasi, and 1 p.m. in Praia, the Cape capital. Good afternoon, and many thanks for staying tuned to West Africa Democracy Radio, 94.9 FM Dakar. Welcome to the second edition of the live coverage of the 2024 general elections in Ghana. I am Imo Edit. It's been an interesting moment in Ghana with several reports of proceedings coming in the last hours. In this edition, we'll be hearing from our correspondents, analysts, and we'll also be having in-studio guests to discuss highlights of the elections and other issues relating to governance in Ghana. Well, a quick update. Voting officially began at 7 a.m. across the country. Well, however, voters in some polling stations at the Kone Katamanso constituency in Accra did express frustrations at a delay in the start of voting due to unavailability of ink pads. Well, they said the EC was yet to provide the ink pad for those polling stations as at the time of filing this report. But we'll bring an update on this as we proceed. Also, Vice President and presidential candidate for the ruling NPP voted at his home constituency, Wale. He voted around past 9 this morning, I think, when we just took that break. Well, our correspondent in the Mango Savannah region also reported that Baumia's running mate voted in his hometown around the same time. We also got the report that voting currently is ongoing smoothly at Besile Government School polling station in the Kone Katamanso constituency. And as of 9:30, 25 to 24 people had voted out of 420. I'm sure the number had increased by now. Well, in Greater Accra, the Ghana Police Service confirmed the arrest of an Electoral Commission official in Kintampo South for electoral offences. In a statement, they said that the suspect, Derry Joseph, is under investigation for issuing about 15 ballot papers to voters that omitted the first presidential candidate at the Ampesika Bayere polling station. Well, any moment from now, also, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, will be having its May Day press briefing, which, of course, will be bringing you updates by our correspondent over there. In the meantime, the Vice President and flag bearer of the ruling New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, cast his vote in the Wale constituency of the Savannah region. Adorned in traditional white smoke, or fugu as it is called, Dr. Bawumia expressed happiness at the smooth process and urged all Ghanaians to eschew violence. Let's take a listen to the Vice President.
Our message to the people. I think the message has been well received, and I believe that by the grace of God, when all the ballots are counted, the MPP, myself and our parliamentary candidates will emerge victorious in this election. So far, what I'm hearing in terms of reports around the country, there is calm. There's very little tension that I can see around the country. People are going to queue. In fact, I gather that people were queuing from midnight last night across the country. It shows enthusiasm, and I believe that portends well for the democracy of Ghana. A victory is a victory, and we just want to win. So, by the grace of God, we will win. Well, I expect a peaceful process. I believe that we will see the democracy in Ghana entrenched, and I want to thank all.
Well, New Patriotic Party's presidential candidate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia sharing his observation after voting in Wale constituency of the Savannah region. Now, the Electoral Commission EC, as part of effort to ensure transparency and credibility, opened 8 strong coalition rooms across the country to the media. In its first press briefing on the elections, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jane Mensah, says the move is to mitigate issues of misinformation and disinformation. Though the EC admits that there could be some glitches, it expressed confidence of a generally smooth process with the utilization of biometric verification devices, BDCs. Let's take a listen.
This is a historic moment in our country, as this is the first time we are opening up our collation center at the national level to our media partners. And we are doing this right from the start of the elections, which took place a few hours ago. As you are aware, all elections since the inception of the Fourth Republic in 1992, in all elections since the Fourth Republic, that is since 1992, the media have been granted access only when the declaration is being made at the National Collation Center. And so in the past, although some media may have had access to our polling stations, it was only when the declaration was about to take place that the media were invited to the National Collation Center. Today, this has changed, and hence my discussion and my declaration that this is a historic moment. Going forward, as like today, the media will have access to all our centers across the country. As you are well aware, the Commission has today granted access to all our polling stations at all our constituency collation centers, all our regional collation centers, and our National Collation Center to the media. We have to date accredited some 10,000 media men and women to cover activities in the field. The media will have first-hand verified information on all aspects of our work. This is a testament of the values that the Commission holds dear. Values of transparency, values of accountability, values of integrity, values of inclusiveness, and values of responsiveness. We believe that by enabling our media partners to cover all aspects of our work, we will inject the needed transparency into all aspects of our work. This would provide the citizenry with vital information and help eliminate and reduce completely the suspicions that had hitherto characterized our work. Ultimately, we have no doubt that this would help to cement the peace and stability of our country. Our media partners, over the next 3 days, and to the citizens of Ghana, over the next 3 days, we will provide you with up-to-date situation reports and address the concerns of citizens. We are aware that you have your teams in the field, and so if there are any issues, we urge that you bring them up for the Commission to address those issues in a timely manner. We thank the good Lord for what He has started. Indeed, reports reaching us indicate that the elections are proceeding well across the length and breadth of this country.
And the chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Ghana, Jen Mentor, speaking there. Meanwhile, the Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, ASP Grace Ansah Akrofi, has also been speaking about security measures implemented to ensure free and fair elections. Speaking at the press conference, Ansah Akrofi urged voters to desist from using motorbikes at various polling centers.
But now we are monitoring, we'll be observing, and we'll be intervening whenever the need arises. We wish to also let you know that throughout the day, we'll be responding to issues and updating you with facts as they come up. So far, our officers on the ground have observed that quite a number of people try to access the various polling stations with their motorbikes. We wish to entreat such persons to ensure that they park about 100 meters away from the polling centers. And we have instructed our men on the ground to make sure they direct such persons to comply so we do not congest the polling stations with motorbikes. We also want to urge the general public to contact the police on our toll-free number 0800-311-311 whenever there is any information they want to share with us. Our officers are ready behind all the telephones and will be picking and responding to situations as they share information with us. I take the number again, 0800-311-311. We'd also like to use this opportunity to urge members of the public to desist from passing on information that is inaccurate, that they haven't verified. So issues of disinformation and misinformation should be discouraged so that all of us ensure a peaceful and successful process. And to facilitate this, we will continue to update you with the facts as far as security-related issues are concerned, as and when they come up. We want to take this opportunity once again to assure the general public, to assure all Ghanaians that the security agencies under the National Election Security Task Force, we are poised, we are ready, we are on the ground, and we will secure the election process up to the end. And we urge the public to come and work with us so that at the end of the day, Ghana will win. Thank you very much.
Well, Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, ASP Grace Ansah-Kofi, addressing the media. All right, let's come back here to the studio as we bring on board our guests. We told you earlier that we do have a large community of Ghanaians here in Senegal, and it's quite interesting to see the enthusiasm, the excitement about the election, and how they've all come forward to show support and be part of the process. Well, in studio here, I do have with me by my left is Dr. Ali Bashir. He is the grand patron, let me put it that way, of the Ghanaian community here, and he's a senior medical officer. Dr. Ali, thank you so much for your time and welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for also inviting us, and it is a pleasure to be here.
Indeed. Well, to my right and closer to me is Mr. Nana Jetche Nixon. He is the vice chairman of the Ghanaian community here and also an entrepreneur. Mr. Nana, thank you so much for your time and welcome.
Thank you, sir. We are also happy to be here.
Indeed. And next to him is Mr. Kwasi Che Bafo, a member of the community. Mr. Bafo, thank you so much for your time and welcome.
Thank you too.
Indeed. Well, Doctor, let me start with you. We've talked so much about December 7, and even in the dream, some people even dream December 7. It's finally here. What's your feeling like?
Thank you so much. Yes, indeed, the great day has come. Today, the 7th of December, is a day that is very, very cardinal and very important in our history. And for that matter, we are here also to share and then also express some of our thoughts about how this election should be. We want this election to be a very peaceful, free and fair. We want it to be transparent. We want also that everything should go as according to plan. Now, I'm appealing to the law enforcement agents, the people in uniform, our brothers and sisters in uniform, that election is not a war. If they are there, they should make sure that they also respect what they have been sent there to do. They should not go and intimidate people. They should not go and make people afraid. And they should not also use weapons on people. People, I encourage them to come out in their numbers massively and vote so that Ghana will be a better place. I also want to ask a question. That, is election a war? No. Election is a democratic expression of every civil rights of everybody. So when people are there to vote, please, there should not be intimidation. Now, there should not be also rigging of elections. People should be very, very sincere in whatever they do, especially the election commission. They should not try to rig the election or hijack the election. Now, I also would like to say that this election is going to decide our future. So all Ghanaians, I humbly appeal to you that come out and vote. Vote for your right and vote for your future. It is my prayer that may the Lord let this election come to a successful end with the winner coming out as a true choice of the population, the people, and not people trying to rig elections by duplicating votes and then trying to choose whatever they want. No, it is the choice of the people. That is what we are expecting. So we pray that everybody should also be calm. People should not come and create confusion, chaos, and violence. It is not a war. We are there, and we want everybody who is going to be there should go and also respect law and order and vote quietly and monitor everything that goes on.
Indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you indeed for that opener, Doctor. Well, Mr. Nixon, let me come to you. Well, you've been here in Senegal for a long time. What are some of the issues you have heard your people talk about back home, and you would want to see that change happen after this election? Whoever comes in, that thing that people always call you, say, "Oh, sir, this is what we're going through. This is what we want. This is the change we want." What are those things you think are very important to voters right now?
Oh, thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity. I think what is important is we need peace. That's the first thing that we must talk about. That peace is the thing that can help us to do everything that we're supposed to do. Ghana is not a small country. It's a country that has been. We can say that Ghana is the first independent country in Africa. So everything that we are doing, we must to create it as an example for others to know. And we have also get up from coup d'etat and other things. So Ghana has been exercised the democracy for a quite long time, and we are now in our fourth republic, and everybody knows how the country has become now. So as what our patron has just said, we don't need violence, but we want everything to be democratic and everything to be successful. We have a good leaders in Ghana, and we have the chiefs, traditional chiefs, and we also have the religions, pastors, and leaders. So Ghana have a great leaders who can know what they can do, that the peace can reign in the country. But all things that we can say is the people who are now going to vote, they are the people they can create the problems. So we want everybody to know what he may do. As our old president said, ex-president Adekum Kufuor, during his campaign time, he said, all what I've expected everyone to do is to go and vote and come and sit down, to wait to the time that the results will come out. That was his policy. He was not there for anything, but I could remember when he came into my town, Obuasi Adansi, that's where I come from. We were expecting him, and this man came around 6:30 to 7. It was almost dark. He came into our stadium, and the stadium was full of capacity. You can never stand there. But all what this man said is, I'm here for you. If you want me, go and vote massively and come and sit down. All what we need is that. Don't create any confusion. So all what we need right now is the peace may take role. And at the end of the day, we know God will choose the one that can take the country to move forward as how we are expecting.
Indeed. Let me come to you, Mr. Bafo. Would you have voted if you were in Ghana?
Yes, because I've voted since 1992.
That was the last time you voted?
No.
Voting since that time?
Okay. I've been voted since
So what would you have, what would have been at the back of your mind if you were going to the ballot station to vote? What are you thinking? What are you expecting to happen after you cast your vote? What do you want to see? What are the changes that you want to see?
Oh, that one, you know that as a democratic country, everybody have a right to vote. But as for me, if I'm in Ghana right now, I will cast my vote, and so that I will make sure peace and order will be prevail. Because in Ghana, if you're talking about Ghana democracy, you have got a lot of things in Ghana since 1992, 1996, 2000, up to now. We are practicing democracy. But every election year, every party say about what you want to do for the nation.
The country,
Yeah. And so if I'm listening to your message, if your message convince me, I will vote for you. If another one message convince me, I will vote for him. And so as for voting, It's depend any one of them who
What
can
policy
convince
that
me.
they are tabling?
Yeah. Because as for me, I'm very worried about we Africans, how we manage our country. Because if I'm saying since independent, we take our independence from British colony, 1957, and so we go through military rulers, and we come back to right now. We are fourth republic. We are fourth republic right now, and so we as a citizens, we need a lot of development from our leaders. But sometimes they will say it, but we vote them to power. They cannot deliver what they have told us before they are coming to power. And so right now, we as a citizen, we are very polite for anyone who is getting for power. We are listening to your message, and we see how you are conduct yourself as a person. Then we vote for you. That is why it's going on in Ghana right now. Yeah.
Doctor, let me come to you. You've heard some of the policies, the campaign promises, Baumia, Mahama, the other independent candidate. They've all said they will do a lot to change Ghana. Already the economy is suffering. People are not happy as it is. Do you see this working, whoever comes in?
I'm very sorry. I'm really disappointed. Very, very disappointed, because all these politicians, what come to say, they don't do it. They are only liars. To be very honest with you, I am very, very disappointed, because when they come and say they will do anything, they don't do it. We have to see them. We have seen it over and over again. Now, I am also a little bit disappointed about the way our Ghana water bodies are looking like. People cannot drink water. Before, we could go to the stream, take water and drink, but now today it's not so. Infrastructure. Our schools that were built, and you see, our political atmosphere in Ghana is not too good, because when one party starts doing anything that is in developing some area, when the next government comes in, if it's not that particular party, they will abandon all the project, which is not best. Now, development is standstill. Now, we look at the economy. When we look at the economy today, people's businesses are flopped, and this ordinary man cannot even afford 3 square meals. So when you look at the economy that has gone up to this dollar rate, as compared with the ordinary income per month, the monthly salary, people cannot eat as it should be. And our this doomsday issue, electricity issue should also be addressed. So we appeal that when we look at other countries surrounding us, they don't have the natural resources as we have. But when we visit them, we see that they are developing very fast. So we want people who come and serve us. They should come and serve us, because we are voting them to power. They should not expect to come and be our masters. They should come and serve and not to be served. 1. 2, our economy should be looked into. They should not come and amass wealth through galamsey and trying to bring their family members into the system. They should also devoid from taking the national coffers into for themselves, because we've had a lot of cases where Ghana, the Bank of Ghana, can just say the bank has lost billions and billions of cedis. Where has that money gone to? So I'm appealing that people should come and be sincere. They should also try to show that honesty. They should be honest. They should be dedicated. So people should also come and show leadership by example. That they will not come and steal from the coffers of the nation, but they should come and contribute their quota to national development. Well,
are you concerned, Doctor, that we are seeing even old people, older hands still wanting to come into power? Mahama's been there before. Baumia has been there. Don't you think it's an opportunity for maybe a fresh hand to come in? And maybe perhaps we could see these changes that you are talking about.
Exactly. That should have been the case, but unfortunately, I don't know what happened. Like Senegal, where we are, we have a lot of parties that came. But today, the new concept of leaders, this new leadership, they are just the youth, and they really understand because they are just coming from the youth, so they understand the plight of the population. So Ghana should have been the same thing, but here is the case that people come and they go and they want to come again. Nevertheless, provided the person comes and the person is good enough to give out the best, we will also accept it. But unfortunately, when they come to just let their families enjoy, and the ordinary citizen suffer. So our economy should be looked onto again. Then the policies should also be adjusted and then also be rectified.
Let me hold you up there, Doctor. And as we cross over to Accra, we do have Ibrahim Zibrila on standby to bring us up to speed. Ibrahim, how you doing? Good afternoon. And what's the situation there?
Okay, I'm doing very good, and the situation here is very calm. The region is very calm at the moment. If you go onto the street, you realize that there are a lot of the street is very empty. It seems a lot of people are staying home today and just focusing on the election. So I'm at one particular polling station here, is the Ritz Hotel polling station here in the Medina constituency. And there was a little rain here earlier on, and that has affected the turnout a bit. But I've been speaking to the presiding officer, and she's telling me that they are hoping that a lot of people will come. So let me speak to the presiding officer shortly.
Okay.
She's called Cynthia. So I'll ask her how the situation has been since morning. Madam Cynthia, please, thank you very much for joining us. How has the situation, the voting process been since morning?
Okay, so this morning it's been very smooth, and aside the rain that came to distort everything, but people are coming in now. And so I think we believe they will come. After everything, it has stopped. The rain has stopped, so they will still come because you can see they are trooping in now. So we believe they will come.
So have you had any challenge of biometric device not being able to recognize voters and all that?
Not yet. At the moment, we are verifying everybody.
All right. So that was Madam Cynthia. She's the presiding officer at one of the polling stations that I'm presently at the moment. So in the Greater Accra region, things are relatively very calm, although we've had a little spots, or we've heard of a little issues happening at some polling stations. But the police, anytime an incident happens, are quick to release a statement to address it. So that's the situation so far in the Greater Accra region.
Well, we heard the police release a statement saying that they arrested an electoral commission official at Kintampo South. That's in Bono East region for electoral offences during this election. Have you had any of such in that area, maybe some form of malpractice or issues by any officials there?
Okay, so what the situation we've heard about, the situation that happened in Kintampo is that it's alleged that electoral official, when issuing out the ballots to voters, you know, the vice president is the first on the ballot.
Yeah.
So when issuing out the ballot, he toss out the vice president's face, and then the ballot paper is in a way given to the voter without the face of the number one person on the ballot. So that was the allegation which were made against him, and then the police swiftly arrested him and he's in custody now, and they said they are proceeding with investigations. We've not heard of any electoral official also engaged in search for now. It's just been allegations that both parties normally make against each other of trying to influence voters with money and all that, but we've not had. Some of them are just misinformation that the police has not confirmed yet.
Well, you talked about the rain disrupting the start of the process. Do you think this may, because now from what the electoral officials say, people are just coming in now to the polling station. Do you think this may see them extending voting beyond the closing hour?
No, I don't think voting, the closing hours will be extended. So the rules are that by the time the polls close at 5 p.m., all those who are still in queue will be allowed to cast their ballot. But by the time the polls close at 5, if there's no one who is here to cast their ballot, then the polls will be closed and then the ballot box will be open for counting to be done. So I don't see extension happening over here. But the polling officials have told me that they are confident that a lot of people will come and vote since there's a few hours to close of polls. They're expecting that a lot more people will come out and cast their ballot before polls close at 5 p.m. local time.
Indeed. Well, Ibrahim, thank you so much for the update, and do stay safe. We'll be reaching out in the course of this coverage.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, we understand that leader of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, did express confidence of a win the election after casting his vote in the Boli Bamboy constituency in the Savannah region. Now, the former president first decided to visit the grave of his late father, Emmanuel Adama Mahama, a one-time Ghanaian politician and Northern Regional Minister. According to the former president, the move is to seek the blessings of his late father in the crucial race. Well, let's hear that sound.
The process, as I've seen it here, it's smooth and very easy. It didn't take more than 3 minutes for me to finish voting in both the presidential and parliamentary. If it's the same everywhere in the country, then I think we'll have a successful election. One election that almost everybody can see what the result is going to be. Other elections have been not as obvious, but with this one, everybody can tell the direction in which it's going. And that's because of the abysmal performance of the Bawumia Akufo-Addo government, the situation of our economy, the hardship people are facing, the increasing unemployment, and all the difficulties Ghanaians are going through. They want somebody who's more experienced, who knows how to run things, to come and take over and rescue this country. Absolute majority. It's going to be I predict more than 150 members of parliament. We've done that, all that any political party must do. We have trained our agents. We have agents in all the 40,663 polling stations. We've trained them well. And we have monitors, we have observers, all looking out to make sure that everything goes well. After this, normally the voting process is smooth, but if the problem starts coming when you have the counting and the collation, that's where most often the problem starts. I just want to say prayers. In my tradition and our culture, if you are faced with a battle ahead or some tough task or assignment, it is their tradition to go to those who gave birth to you and go and pray and ask them to stand behind you. And so it's normal in our party. So my uncles organized the prayers, and they're Muslim. And so they said Muslim prayers on the grave of my father.
There you have it, Mr. Muhammad there speaking after casting his ballot. He actually went to get his late father's blessing. Well, we're still here in the studio as we will be crossing over to the field to hear more update. But in the meantime, I still have my guests in the studio. Well, Doctor, you were talking about some of the policies before we pause to get this. Have you been satisfied so far with the policies of this current or this outgoing administration?
Not at all. I'm very disappointed.
Why is that?
I'll say it again, because they have not been a government that has that urge to satisfy the Ghanaians of all their promises. What did they say? One district, one dam, 1 district, 1 million, all charted. They did not fulfill it. They did not fulfill it. And for that matter, you see, as I was saying, we need to get leaders who are trustworthy. They respect whatever they say, because people voted for them because of what they heard and what they expect from them. But if they come and then they are not truthful, they come and lie to people just to win power, and then come and then impose on the people. Look at the economy today. It's very, very bad. It's very sad. So people are not happy. Myself, I'm not happy that whatever they said they'll do, they did not do it. And likewise, other people in Ghana, the same thing, they are also suffering. You know, so the policies that they said they would do, people are not getting them. People cannot eat well. People the businessmen, all their businesses are flopped. Now the school, they said free education and free education and free education. I mean, I'm not against anybody, and I'm not for anybody. I'm only speaking the truth. What I see that should be good. People should be able to distinguish what is good from bad. Now, this free education, look at the food that's given to the children. People go to school and they come back sick. and then the food that they give them is polluted. The food, the rice, expired rice, etc., etc. Now, the government cannot foresee that these are polluted waters. This Galamsey issue should be controlled in some way. Our forests have been penetrated, and then these are reserved areas that people should not go. Galamsey has been in system for a long time, but it is not the way it has been open to everybody, and anybody comes to destroy our lands, and then bring about environmental pollution, and then even our water bodies polluted. So people should also respect whatever they say, because even this one that should come, if whatever they say we are expecting from them, if they come and don't do well, we are going to say it again, and then the next time we vote against them.
Indeed. Well, let's cross over to Damango, Savannah region, where Edwin Gogo is on standby. Edwin, can you hear me?
Yes, Imo.
Yeah, what is the situation there where you are?
All right. So, good afternoon once again, and good afternoon to everybody that is listening to West Africa Democratic Radio. All right. Currently, I am in Damango, and I am in Kantin, Damango Kantin, precisely. So, the voting process here is very calm and peaceful. We haven't recorded any incident of violence or any incident of misunderstanding between the two political parties or the other political parties as well. So so far I've been to 10 polling stations and above, and I've observed that all the EC officials are conducting themselves, and they are following the rules and regulations, the Constitution and the EC rules and regulations as well, that I can report from those that I've been to. As I indicated in the morning, that the only prominent figure that we got out of then was the Bishop of Damango Diocese, that is Most Reverend Peter Paul Anche Yelezome. But currently that I am currently at the LA Primary School in Kantin, and we had the former parliamentary candidate for the new Patriotic Party, the MPP, who also came and had his votes. So we were able to interact with him, and he said he called on everybody that is still in the house to come out in their numbers to vote, and urged each and everyone to cast their vote peacefully and return. And he's foreseeing that victory would be for his political party, that is the new Patriotic Party, as I said. So we were able to also interact with the Kantin NDC chairman, who also, that is the National Democratic Congress, who also expressed confidence that his party will emerge victorious, looking at the incident or look at the situation on ground, the difficulties that we are facing, the challenges, the economic challenges, and also the youth unemployment issues. He is very confident that his party will remain his party will come back to power by the end of the day. And what he is saying is that he has spoken to his political party members to be very peaceful and calmful, so that the counting process, that everybody is foreseeing that there will be a lot of tension and that there will be a lot of agitation around that side. So he's calling on his party members and the youth that they should be very calmful and to respect the processes, so that at the end of the day, victory will be theirs and victory will be for everybody. So what I've also observed is that everywhere I go, I realize that there is a security person that is always around. But per the EC officials, that the EC regulation indicates that there's no any military man, or there's not supposed to be a military man at any police station. And that so far, all the police stations that I've been to, I can report vividly that I haven't seen any military man in that place, or I haven't seen any military uniform in that polling station. So far, we've seen fire service, we've seen the police, we've seen the other service personnel that are around, but no military person. And also, the challenge that we are interacting with some of the voters, and they are expressing to us is that down here in the north, this is a dry season, and the dry season, the sun is always very hot. So some of the places that they don't have canopies or trees are not under that place, it becomes very difficult for people to stand on the sun for a very long period of time to vote. So that will be one of the challenges that they are facing. Aside that, I think voting is ongoing smoothly. And also, some shops have been closed down maybe personally before for their own reasons to come and vote and go back, because my observation in the town, after then I was moving to the village. I've also been to, I must say that not just in the town, but I've been to some of the villages outskirts to also observe the process. So, and the villages too, there is also calm, and there are security officials there. The EC are also doing their best. And the only challenge that the EC, they always tell us, is that when the fingerprint is not able to pick, then they go to do the facial verification. And the facial verification, that one also goes smoothly. So I think the EC has also done well for being flexible and for introducing several means that people can use to vote. So aside the facial verification, there's also manual verification that the people can use to vote. So far, this is what I can report. If there's any question that you would like to answer.
Yes, indeed. Just before I let you go, I mean, from the statistics that was ruled out, not just by the EC, but other organizations, we've seen a very large intake of new voters, young people coming into, the picture. We know that women occupy, the highest percentage in terms of number of voters, and also young people. Have you been able to cite any new voter or voters?
Yes, of course. I must add that that's a beautiful question, and thank you so much for that question. We've cited new voters, and I must say, 30% to 40% of the people that I've interacted with, some of them, because they are new voters, they don't agree to talk to us on camera or even say recording, but they will just agree for us to interact with them. They are saying that, the voting process is quite well, and this is their first time they are going to vote. They know who they are voting, but they will not always tell you specifically that they are voting for change. If you want to push further, whether they will vote for change or they will maintain the person, they always tell you that they are going to do what is required of them. So I think the youth are even coming out in their numbers to exercise their franchise. I must add that.
All right, Edwin, thank you so much for talking to us. We'll come back to you in the course of this broadcast. Let's go straight to Gideon in Ada, the Greater Accra. Ada, is it raining there? We understand it is showering in some part of Accra.
Yeah, it's raining in some parts of Adan as well, especially in the Adan West district. But the Adan East area is not receiving any rain.
Okay. Well, so what's the situation there? I know earlier you reported that early in the morning, most of the community members were rushing to fetch water at the tap. What is the situation? Have they all gone back to the polling stations?
Majority, like I mentioned, have moved to the polling centers to cast their vote. In fact, early morning in the coastal communities is a busy time every day, especially on weekends like this, because early morning is when the fishing canoes come from sea. So the women are busy also buying fish and selling fish from the coast. And so early hours of the day, we saw around 11, we saw a lot of people at the center. And so far, the polling officials we've spoken to at various centers have confirmed that a large number of people registered have already cast their vote in most parts of the Adan West district. But compared to the Adan East, the turnout is not that encouraging as compared to what we are hearing in what we are seeing here in the Adan West district. In the Adan East, it is reported by many of my colleagues there that the turnout is generally low, but the aged are voting more compared to the youth in the Adan East area. What factors may be causing this, we are unable to tell exactly, but maybe voter apathy could be one of them. But it has also been reported in certain parts of the Adan East area that there are some number of youths that are not ready to vote, and their reason is until they are given some token by a candidate, they will not vote. And so you have that group also. I am also told that a group of motor riders who do motor riding for commercial purposes are also grouping themselves and are saying that until they are given some token, they will also not vote. So generally, the aged are going, and once they get to the polling center, they are giving special attention. The Electoral Commission has also done something that is helping the visually impaired and the disabled community as a whole. The visually impaired are voting with data sheets, and so it's helping them to vote without any body assisting or leading them to vote for someone they are not actually hoping to vote for with the data sheet. And they have been given training previously, before today. And so most of them that are coming, as I saw in the queue, are using the data sheet themselves to vote for whoever they decide to vote for. So it's a good
development.
Electoral Commission.
Indeed, yeah. I must say it's a good development, knowing that the election is inclusive in some way, bringing in even the disabled to be part of this election. Well, Gideon, thank you for the update, and we will be coming to you much later on in the coverage.
All right, thank you.
Well, let's me come back here to the studio just before we take on the speech of President. Well, let's do that now if it's ready. Well, now President Nana Akufo-Addo has urged Ghanaians to come out in their numbers and exercise their democratic right. He said this after casting his vote in the JB constituency. He, however, expressed satisfaction in the electoral process so far.
The process was excellent, very smooth, very simple. So I think apart from today, the reports that are coming in from across the country suggest that this election is going very well and that it is being done peacefully. Ghanaians are showing their commitment to democratic outcomes, and we all have to be thankful to God for that. What I want to tell everybody is, those of you who have yet to vote, please go out and vote. Each vote counts. Your voice matters. And we want to have a situation whereby at the end of the day, the majority of Ghanaians are satisfied with the outcome.
All right. There you have it, President Nana Akufo-Addo. They're urging all Ghanaians to come out in mass and vote. Well, you had a report from our correspondent. Voters' apathy is setting in. Some people are saying they have to pay them before they go out to vote. Well, Mr. Nana, let me come to you. You heard that report there. Does it really make sense, knowing that people are saying, look, if you don't pay me or if you don't give me money, I will not vote?
I don't know sometimes how people decide, because for this democracy is the power for everyone. Yeah. So if you are a citizen and you are a person who have been qualified to vote, and you know your rights, as it was said, you know your rights, you know the situation of the country, and you know what you want the country to become, and you want someone to come and tell you that let me do you this thing before you do. That means you don't know what to do. Yeah, that's what I can say. You don't know what to do. Because if you know that the situation, that's why you want the things to be changed.
Yeah.
And you want someone to come and give you something before you go, and that means you don't know your rights. You don't know your rights. But at this moment, everybody must say what he likes. That's what we call it democracy.
Exactly.
Democracy is something that is the opinion of everyone. And you are a citizen and you are being allowed to go and vote for your choice. Because all what the people are saying, all the leaders or the candidates, what they are saying, that will let you know the one that you prefer, that this person, when he comes, what he will do will help me. Because in Africa here, we didn't see the person by what he has done before we vote for him. But the person will come and say that if I come, he come with promise. And then we follow for the person. Yesterday, I was with our leaders, and I was saying that Africa must change our mentality for voting. Because before someone will come and say that vote for me, let us see what the person has done before for the nation or the people around him. I'm here, and you come and tell me that, Nana, go and vote for me, whereby I don't know you. What you have with your family alone. And right now, if I go and vote for you,
How are you sure he will do what he comes in?
How did I sure that this person, what he come to do, will help me or not?
Let me hold your thought there as we cross over to Accra. Well, we do have Shamina, women's rights and activist, founder of the Alliance for Women in Media and campaign team of NDC running mate. Well, she will be speaking to us. Hello, good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, and is it bonsoir? Yes.
Yes, is you can still say bonjour.
Okay, bonjour, bonjour.
Yes, thank you so much for your time
in Senegal and beyond. Thank you for having me.
Indeed, you're welcome. Well, tell us, women are dominating. Over 52% of women are supposed to come out to vote today, but we have heard several reports of low turnout. What is the situation where you are, and why is that so?
Indeed, I just cast my votes about 30 minutes ago, and in my polling station, which had about 3 polling stations in that vicinity, the reports from the agents are that we are actually reporting some low turnout, and they're hoping that the numbers would increase before end of polls around 5 p.m. But as of now, the expected numbers haven't quite turned up yet to vote. But the lines are there. They are not too long. People came out in the morning, so we're still hoping that we would see as many numbers come out. And there may be 1 or 2 reasons for that. I mean, for us and for the opposition, when you see some of these signs, especially in strongholds of the incumbents, you know that it is apathy from their base. So the opposition party watchers will not be worried because they can say that the people who are coming out to vote are for them, especially in their strongholds.
About women's involvement in this election. Yes, we saw, I think, 3 women and we lost 1. People were actually expecting more women to come out and contest aside parliamentary seats, but also the top job as a president. Is Ghana still lacking behind in this regard?
Until a very significant decision was taken by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the opposition NDC leader, who nominated a female running mate, had female aspirants on the ticket of small parties that didn't even have representations in parliament. So you would say that there were previous experiments, where we saw women put themselves up and win their party primaries, but those political parties were real small political parties that really were not strong, didn't have a national appeal. And we have seen same. We have 13 candidates on the ballots, including some women. 1 died, as you have said. But for this year, the most significant decision was that one of the 2 major political parties, because since 1992, since Ghanaian independence, there has always been 2 political parties that have won the elections. It's either NDC or the NPP. So effectively, Ghana is a duopoly, if I would say, per our experience since 1992, when we returned to constitutional rule, and we've done 32 years since. So the NDC's decision to go with Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, the first female vice presidential candidate on a major ticket, was really very significant in defining, this year's elections. And many women I have spoken to, we've had several meetings. We are going to see an outturn of more women actually voting in this election. And the hope is that it would relate to the votes for the John Mahama Jane ticket, and Ghana would see its first female vice president. With regards to the issue of parliamentary candidates, yes, we did have quite a number of women contest for primaries across all constituencies, all 276 constituencies. Unfortunately, many of them did not win their primaries. There are whole regions where we have not, no woman won, in any constituency in that particular region, which really is a sad, testimony, given the amount of work that Ghanaian women rights organizations have put in over decades, the rights they have secured for women of Ghana, the many glass ceilings that Ghanaian women have broken. We have had several female chief justices. We have had several female attorney generals. We have had a couple of female speaker of parliament. So if you look at those major spaces, Ghanaian women have made great advancement. In corporate Ghana, we've broken almost all the glass ceilings in telecommunications, in banking, in technology, in even construction now, in architecture. There are major big players who are women and in business. But in politics, we still have a ways to go yet, because of the 275 member parliament now, we have only 40 women. And these women, 20 for the incumbent government and 20 for the opposition NDC. And we are hoping that at least those few women who have gone through the primaries and are on the ticket, that by the close of today, we should be able to retain, if not the 40 number, but at least increase the number of women in Ghanaian parliament. But unfortunately, we will still be far below the expected average of at least 30% women representation in national assemblies, as the AU envisages, as the UN has, called for, and even as our affirmative action bill, which was recently passed in our national parliament, has dictated.
Well, is this affirmative bill really working? Because here in Senegal, the percentage is 50-50. And it is expected, like you mentioned, across the continent in Parliament, it should be a 50-50 ratio. And from your statistics from the electoral body, we're seeing even more women getting involved in terms of being the electorate and lesser men. So we are assuming in this case, shouldn't we also see more women indicating interest in even the top job, even if it is within these two parties that you have mentioned?
There are women who have shown interest. In fact, we've seen unprecedented levels of interest in terms of female participation in our politics, from the grassroots right to the high level. The barrier has been actually securing electoral wins. And those barriers have been largely financial, primarily also social, cultural. And the patriarchal societies in many parts of our countries continue to work against female leadership. So what it means is that half of the time in some communities, they are unwilling to vote for a female to represent them. That continues to be a barrier. And then the very tough political terrain.
Oh dear, we lost Shamima Muslim there. She is a women rights activist and founder of Alliance for Women in Media and campaign team of NDC running mate. Thank you so much, Shamima there. Well, gentlemen in the studio, from the clip we are seeing on our YouTube channel, we've seen elderly people going out to vote. Look at this woman, for instance, and all wanting to carry out their duties as citizens of the country. Wouldn't it be annoying if, after going through all of this, you also heard our correspondent talking about the scourge of the sun, where there are no canopies, there are no shelters where people can stay, and then you now come into power without not fulfilling what is needed to be done.
Yes, this is really discouraging and unfortunate. Like you said, a voter requesting money before voting. What is that in politics? Integrity. We have lacked integrity. And this is something that is really killing me. What are we doing? Do we know what is called integrity? Are we observing the principles of integrity? Bribing and corruption. Can you imagine they brought plain daylight in the marketplace, a table where money was there distributed to people. So why won't the youth also request money before? And this was done by one particular party, which is very, very bad. It's unfortunate. How do you give money to people to go and vote for you? Let the choice of the people break. So it is Now, this bribery and corruption has it has penetrated into the car. So, bribery and corruption has been the canker of the day. These old ladies coming out to vote because they have felt the impact of these economical hardships. That's why they have taken the trouble to come and stand on this scorching sun and even the rain, walk through the rain to go and vote. So the youth of Ghana, I'm advising, it's my appeal to you that come out and vote massively for the choice and let the best be the winner.
Indeed. Well, on Friday, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, made a presentation at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping and Training Center, Kaptisi in Teshie. Paul Nana Kwabena, Mensa, head of the Critical Incident Desk, briefed WADR on the observations, the aftermath of the rallies, and issues around misinformation. Well, let's take a listen.
2024 has been generally good as far as the elections environment is concerned. In 2020, by this time, we had already recorded 3 deaths. Some properties had been damaged. For example, in Doma West, which is in Krankwanta, we had a pickup belonging to the MPP Youth Organizer Bands. We had 3 motorbikes belonging also to the NDC supporters bands. The NPP's constituency office was damaged, computer, everything damaged. So happened in most places across the country. In the registration exercise 2020, we also recorded some gunshots and the Leha Okumsin case, you are aware, fresh in your mind. But to date, though we've gone through the registration exercise peacefully, we've had campaign ending yesterday, we've not recorded any of such incidents, high fatality incidents as recorded in 2020 yet. We are also very critical about one last phase that usually also come with the fatalities, which is the last phase for tomorrow, counting declaration of results, where in 2020 we recorded 5 deaths. So we are just cautioning ourselves as media, as Electoral Commission, as Election Security Task Force that we need to provide all the intelligence deployment that we could so that we go through that office also peacefully as we've had from the registration exercise. And if that should happen, then 2024 will be the most peaceful election we've had among the 9 elections under the Fourth Republic.
And so in terms of observations, what exactly is CODEO rolling out to observe the elections on December 7th?
So CODEO started our observation 3 months ago, as we said. We don't do on-the-spot observation. We do long-term observation where we have deployed 97 observers since last 3 months to all the 276 constituencies, and they are filing their bi-weekly reports to the center. It's what we analyze and able to produce reports as to what is happening generally on the electoral environment, some of which I've just shared with you. On the election day, we are deploying 4,000 observers to all the, again, 276 constituencies to a sampled polling stations across, and we use a statistical sample to select so that we have equal representation across the constituencies. Out of these 4,000, we have 3,200 who are stationary observers, meaning they are going to be in one polling station from beginning to the end of the elections. Then we have the rest being roaming observers who will move around to support the station observers. And out of these station observers, 1,500, they are all going to send information to us. But 1,500 of them have been positioned in a way that we can use their data for the para-vote tabulation, which we use to authenticate the result from the Electoral Commission. This is the structure. In addition to the normal observation, we also have special incidents, critical incidents room, where we are going to track from opening, voting, to closing and counting and post-counting jubilation, what happens as far as incidents are concerned. For CODEO, the incidents are grouped into 2. We have incidents that comes along with election management, that sufficiency of the voting materials, availability of security, set up that makes it available for even wheelchair people to vote, secrecy of the ballots, all those principles that got free and fair elections, we observe it. If any station see abuses of that established principles, it's called it an incident. For example, Ghana, we start voting at 7. If at any polling station the voting starts at 11, that's an incident. What happened? Don't forget, voting is expected to close at 5 if nobody's in the queue. So if because people did not start their voting early, they have more queue getting into the night, do you close them? Then Sekodio will come in to issue a statement that it's not the fault of the voter. So these are some of the things that we collate at the incident room. Then we also have physical incidents, intimidation, harassment, shot of guns, machete, all these things are also recorded. And we track to see the status of those incidents after the polls. So this is what we are going to do. When we have this data, we issue 2 statements on the election day. We have what's called midday situational report. As the name indicates, we issue to give a situation from the morning to the afternoon, what is going on so far. Then we have close of polls report. That also summarizes the whole elections and after the end of the elections, what has happened so far. Then on the Sunday, then we issue our prelim statements. Yes, this is what we do at Skodeo. And in all that, we make sure that our checklist conforms to the established credible electoral processes. So we ensure that the security aspect is not abused, the election management aspect is not abused, the voter is not abused.
We have a new phenomenon this year, the fake news and misinformation. Yeah. How is Codeo trying to deal with that, and would they be putting out maybe statements to debunk fake news and misinformations, which can maybe when the results start coming and people are putting out fake news about results in some areas?
You're right. So when we went to the critical incidents room, you saw a special desk manned by 2 of our collaborators. We have the Pen Plus Bytes, a tech-focused NGO that uses technology to debunk some of these things. They are going to support Codio system. So every information that comes, they are going to fast-check it before we are able to pronounce it. We are also going to have another tech-focused NGO here, Fact Check Ghana. They are also going to be with us. They are going to do the same thing. And it's very important because that's why we issued the midday situation reports. In 2012, if you did read the Ghana elections, there were social media information with pictures of dead bodies, about 3 of them or so, that was circulating the social media in 2012.
And even at the time, social media was not as vibrant
as now. And the narrative was that the Votarians are attacking the MPP people in their strongholds. They don't want the MPP to observe. The person, we realized later, that wanted to do that to incite the Ashantis against the Votarians there. When we did our fact check, we realized that it was an accident that had happened some months back, that the people took their picture and manipulated it to confuse people. So it was the situational report that calmness, because tension has started from Kumasi and other environs. Yeah, so it's as important that we have this collaborative fact check the information. We did that in 2016, we did that in 2020, and they are going to repeat it. That when the information comes circulating, they will fact check it and issue to the public to debunk it or confirm it. But if it's confirmed, which appropriate institution to leak the information to try and intervene. That's why we have Ghana Police Service going to send a delegate here, Ghana Armed Force going to send a delegate here. And we're going to work in collaboration with them to see some of these things are resolved quickly.
Right, that was Paul Abrompa Mensah, lead of Critical Incidents, Coalition of Domestic Elections Observers. Kodeo was speaking there to my colleague Nadi Detite in Accra on Friday. Well, let's cross over now onto Accra as we're being joined by governance expert and legal practitioner. That is Samson Ladi Alianini. Mr. Samson, thank you so much for your time and for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Have you voted?
I'm about to do so. I was supposed to have prepared and joined the voting on the special voting day.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I couldn't make that preparation. So what I'm doing, I'm going on air sometime in the night.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting in my area.
Oh.
By 1 o'clock-ish, from this time onwards,
yeah,
the queues disappear. So you go and you're able to vote quickly and you go your way.
Oh. Well, we've heard a report of voter apathy setting in some locations across the country. And in some cases, young people, the youth, are demanding for some compensation before they even, make an attempt to vote. What do you think could be responsible for this?
I think the question of apathy that is being raised now, we will need to wait until at a certain point to be sure that it's truly a matter of apathy. So if a particular polling station registers or has about 1,000 people who are supposed to vote there, and by close of voting, we find that maybe a quarter or half, have voted, and there are no queues with sufficient enough people to make up for, a substantial number. Then we will be able to say that there's apathy. But I think it may be a bit too early to say there is apathy.
Indeed.
As for the questions about seeking inducement, they've become a bit rampant in what you call it, the primary elections. That is the elections that are organized by the parties for their internal leadership processes. They become very rampant. We have heard people, say publicly how much they have planned to pay or paid. And we have seen voters, they've been captured on video by reporters, happily jubilating about the food they got after they voted and the amount of money they got after they voted. Some of them, have received in excess of 2,000. Some have received in excess about 5,000 and so on. But the special prosecutor took on a number of those for the purposes of prosecution. And we expect that these things that normally happen very rampant in the internal party elections will not be repeated in the general election, because the general election, you have a huge population that you cannot afford to pay, every voter. Yeah. It's almost impossible to do that. But where anything of the sort happens, again, it's a crime according to our election laws, the representation of the people's law. It's a crime. You could suffer up to 2 years in jail, and you could be made to pay a fine of up to 6,000 Ghana cedis, or you could suffer both the fine and a term in jail. And after you have come out of jail, 5 years, you are banned from being registered or being given the opportunity to vote. And I think the education has gone down, and people appreciate that these are things that they should be engaged with. But you can't completely write them off. Bits of them might happen in places.
Well, let me talk to you now, Mr. Sampson, as a voter, not as an expert or as a legal practitioner. You are going to vote. What do you have at the back of your mind? What are you voting for, actually?
So typically, and the people of this country know, as many as have been familiar with me in my advocacy and public advocacy, know that normally I have voted for, call them the independent and smaller, parties, because I have grown to have a dislike for the duopoly, the NPP and the NDC, because they don't represent any difference. The corruption continues to inundate the country. For a small country like ours, we went to the IMF recently for $3 billion United States dollars, but this country is unable to account for $3 billion US dollars every year. That is money that is brought in the country to assist us.
Yeah.
So I often believe that those who contest as independents, if they have the opportunity, they may be able to change the endemic corruption situation. So it's public knowledge that I often will vote for these groups or individuals, also as a protest vote, but again, to seek to encourage the growth of smaller parties or independent people to step forward and to let the two parties, the duopoly, begin to realize that we are not in a case where it is either NPP or NDC, and that at one point or the other, there should be one individual or one small group that should give them reason to split up. That it's not always going to be business as usual for them. So, bluntly speaking, normally my protest is either a protest vote, either it is to encourage a smaller or independent party person, and it is often because I think incrementally we should have seen a lot of development that we have seen up to today for all the years that we have practiced, our democracy. So when I speak to young people, just 2 weeks ago, I spoke to the graduates of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. I spoke to batches of thousands of the students who are graduating at their congregation. And I was making the comparison of Malaysia. We got independent about almost 10 years before they did. And they are such an example to the world, and we have practically not much to show for. And, but to be frank with you, the last election, the last two elections, for example, this is what I have done. The last two elections, I have voted for Dr. Papakwesi Indum, who set up a small party, and I wanted to encourage. So I voted for him when he was on the ballot, and then I voted for a parliamentary candidate because he didn't have a parliamentary candidate for my constituency.
Oh, I see.
And then the next election, I voted for the woman candidate because of the question of gender. I voted for the woman candidate who was on the ticket of Dr. Papakwesi Indum's party. And then I voted for a parliamentary candidate for this governing party. But the last previous one, I voted for a parliamentary candidate for the opposition party today.
All right. Before I let you go, sir, I do have with me here leaders of the Ghanaian community here in Senegal. And one thing, and the reason why I'm saying this is because Ghana isn't saying anything about diaspora vote. What is it about that? Maybe if that had happened, perhaps they would have had an opportunity to vote also here in Senegal.
So did you know that I was the lawyer who conducted the case that got the court to hold that Ghana should pass the legislation for diaspora vote?
Interesting. Please tell us about it a bit.
Right. So in 2017, I represented a number of Ghanaians, particularly from the U.S., and we pressed on the court. And in 2017, the court gave a decision and asked that the Electoral Commission should take what we call a constitutional instrument to Parliament, for Parliament to pass to spell out the modalities for diaspora votes. Unfortunately, the next election was COVID reading.
Yeah.
And so the Electoral Commission gave the excuse that because of COVID, they were unable to do those processes. It was such a lame excuse, though. And of course, I have an interest in it because I represented them. So maybe my criticism may be biased, but that's what it is. And then we actually cited them for contempt again of the court for not implementing the orders of the court. And they came an excuse and pleaded for the court to give them more time. And the court offered them more time to be able to do so. And so getting into this election, it was the expectation that the modalities will be set out.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the Electoral Commission appears to want to have the two political parties, once again, the duopoly, wants the two of them to sort of help the Electoral Commission to agree on the modalities before it will put it before Parliament for passage. So that hasn't happened. Unfortunate. And I say that this is unforgivable because we know even smaller countries that conduct diaspora votes.
Yeah.
Their citizens living in Ghana vote in their elections, from Ghana. So it should happen, and hopefully, maybe sometime very soon, that should happen.
Indeed. Mr. Samson Ladi Ayanini, thank you so much for your time and being a part of this coverage. Thank you again.
You're always welcome.
Indeed. Well, there you have it, Mr. Samson Ladi Ayanini. He is a lawyer, governance expert, and also a host of Newsfile on a media channel in Ghana. All right, it's about 1:20 p.m. If you're just joining us, this is the live coverage of the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections in Ghana. My guests are still very much here, and we'll be rounding off in the next 5, 6, 7 minutes thereabout. So let me come to you as a businessman. How has it been doing business here in Senegal as a Ghanaian?
Oh, it's very nice. It's very nice because of the currency here in Senegal. Safer.
The currency is of advantage to you.
Yeah, it's advantage for us. So it's very nice. But as usual, as you know, when we bring our Ghana goods here, it's a lot of frustration here.
Okay.
That one we want to appeal to the government so that in our route coming, so that you can consider that, so that we can get everything very easily to bring it here, because we are all ECOWAS countries.
Certainly.
Yeah, we just want to do our business together so that we have a lot of Senegalese people go to Ghana, to do their business over there. That one is good for us as a black people.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, that one we are pleading for government here in Senegal.
Okay.
When we are closing, I want to thank you people for inviting us to discuss our.
Indeed, we are all Ghanaians.
Yeah,
today we are all Ghanaians.
Yeah. And so we are playing that the election will be peaceful.
Yes.
And after 5 p.m. we are counting.
Hopefully,
who's
going to
win? Be the winner. We are all supporting him to
Indeed.
do better things for us.
Indeed, I wish I had this traditional attire the doctor and Mr. is wearing.
It's not easy to
we shall be able to give you one.
Okay, great.
We shall be able to give you one.
Well, doctor, as we round up this conversation, your final word to especially Ghanaians listening to us over there, and those community members who couldn't come. What are you expecting and hoping that the new government will do? I mean, he talked about the ease of a business, bringing in goods, vice versa, and then you also heard of the diaspora vote, where if that had been done, you would have gone to the polling station somewhere to cast your ballot today.
Surely. It is my civil right to vote. But unfortunately, this, like the lawyer just said, we also even raised it up some years ago, and then the ambassador sent it to Ghana, and we were so happy, and we were expecting that they should bring it here so that we could also vote. But unfortunately, to date, we have not seen anything. Now, my appeal to the government is that whatever promises they have given, they should honor it. Secondly, they should also continue with ongoing projects, not to abandon them, because here in Senegal, I've been here for some years, and I've seen that one government goes, another one comes, another one goes, and when they come, they continue with all the project. And for that matter, come and see Senegal. Who do not have a lot of natural resources that we have, but come and see the developmental projects and then other infrastructure and other things like that. Schools and hospitals are being built everywhere, and it is going well. So what are we doing in Ghana? What are we doing? So it is my hope that this new government whosoever will come, should be able to focus on developmental projects, see our economy, that the economy is streamlined and everything goes well, that the ordinary man will be able to eat squarely. Thirdly, our educational systems. Now, I even heard that the West African examination country is going to be taken away from Ghana because of examination malpractices. Why in our time there was not so? You couldn't use even a calculator.
Yeah.
But today, examiners are giving answer sheet and question papers to people, and they are even they are bold enough to come out, and then so it is unfortunate. It is very, very deplorable. And then I will also encourage all our citizens in Ghana that they should come out and vote massively, vote for a change, vote for the one that we think can change this country for a better place to stay. Because we are dying slowly, if you don't know. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ali Bashir, Ghanaian community patron here in Senegal. He is a senior medical officer. We also have in the studio Mr. Nana Jetched Nixon. He is the vice chairman of the Ghanaian community and also an entrepreneur. And Mr. Kwasi Che Bafo, a member of the community. Gentlemen and Doctor, thank you so much for finding time to be part of this election coverage. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Taz.
Thank you so.
Well, as we draw the curtain on this edition of the program, my colleague in the next half hour, Sani Mumunasebu and Esuli Jeju, will be coming on board to also bring you update on the elections in Ghana. Well, at this point, we would like to end by going to Liberia. Yes, a country whose new government is a little over 10 months is from a distance monitoring the development in Ghana. Well, in Monrovia, our correspondent Grace Joshua spoke with some Liberians about today's vote in Ghana, and they are wishing Ghanaians all the best as they set out. Well, this is where I'll be drawing the curtain. You'll be getting to hear the sound as we wrap up the show. Thank you so much for listening, for joining us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you to our producers behind the glass, Abdullah, led by Abdullah Hassan, Christopher Ticho, Christian Mukwidi. Thank you so much, guys. And of course, those in the newsroom, Ogo Bierika, Gussin Kohli, thank you so much. We see you guys. Well done. The French team will be here in the next 30 minutes, and we'll be back at 4:30. I am Imo Edet. Good afternoon.
Ghanaians decide on new leadership tomorrow. What is your message to them?
Well, as neighboring country, I wish them peaceful elections. I wish them free and fair elections. And I wish them a historical mark that any result come up so that they were accepting the coup.